Welcome to Hands On. I'm Candie Cooper, and this season we're letting our inner artist shine. Today we take a very personal approach using our names and monograms. Our first project are monogrammed ornaments made from air dry clay. Let's take a look at this one. These are really neat, lightweight ornaments that you can make as gifts or keep for yourself. So what we need to make them is some lightweight clay, letter stamps and other stamps, some metallic pens that are super shiny, some matte gel pens, some more opaque markers, acrylic paints, a glue stick if you want to make a card, a rolling pin, something to cut your ornaments with, and I think we're ready to get started. So I've gone ahead and protected my surface, and I'm gonna unwrap my clay here, and you can break off what you need. I'm using a really small pack today. And you're just gonna use a rolling pin to roll your clay out. And you wanna make it about 1/4 of an inch thick. Once you get your clay rolled out, you can kind of get down and look at it to see if it's all nice and level. And then I'm using the lid of a jar to cut my ornament shape out. And you could roll it a little bit thinner, or you could even cut it with a plastic knife to get rectangular shape ornaments. When you're finished, actually I'm gonna set my clay aside and cover up what I'm not using. But when you're finished, you'll have something like that. And then you're gonna take your letter, I'm using a C for Candie, and you can stamp it right in the center of your clay piece. You'll also want to use a straw or the end of a paintbrush or a pencil to get a hole in it that's easy for a ribbon to slip through. Then, just for fun, you can use a craft stick or other stamps to go around the edge to add a little flair. And once you're finished, you can set it aside and just let it dry for about 24 hours before you start decorating it. When you're finished, you're going to have some pieces like this, and you can hear our clay is super dry, and you're gonna use some acrylic paint. I'm using a thicker paint because I wanna seal up any porous area, or the porous areas on the clay. So you would just cover the entire thing and the back with your favorite color, and leave it to dry. And then we've got something like this. So first thing I'm gonna do is take some opaque markers, and I'm gonna use the wide end to kind of go over the sides. And that really highlights my texture and makes it look a little bit more decorative. And you would just repeat for the other side. And you could also go over your edges, and I just used another stamp to get that texture in there, kind of like what I did with the craft stick. And then we're going to switch over to an extra metallic marker to highlight our letter. And I'm going to brace my hands on the table so that I can do this nice and steady. And these markers, you can find them in all different size points. So I'm using sort of a medium size point, but I could go in here now with my extra fine one and make some little stripes like that. I love stripes, and any pattern really. And you could fill in some of these like so to make them a little bit more bold. You could add all kinds of flair with these. When you're finished, I've got one that I've been doodling on here. You can take it one step further and use some of our matte gel pens. And these things are awesome because they go on any kind of surface, and they show up, I'm gonna come over here, they show up nice and bright once they dry. They go on kind of transparent, but you can draw with them and doodle, and when they dry, they look like over here. You can see where I did some work earlier to highlight my leaf shapes. This one's for my friend Laura. She loves to be out in nature. She's a gardener. So I've got these little wild leaves growing here. And those are her initials. And then when you're finished and everything is dry, you're gonna just take the tail of your ribbon, run it through your ornament, like so. Make an overhand knot. Ooh. Here we go. Make your knot. And then you'll want to take some scissors and trim the end so it's nice and pretty. And you've got an ornament for your friend. And then, if you want to give this as a gift, you can fold a piece of paper in half. You can usually get about 2 cards out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. Fold it in half and then cut a second piece of paper, maybe with a little bit of pattern. Use a glue stick to adhere it to the center. And then let's take a look at my finished one. I used some glue spots to adhere it to the card. So when they open it, it's like a little decorative embellishment on the front of the card. And then they can hang it wherever they like.